first episode of Let's Go Bikepacking. I'm Henrik from But Was Out There, and we've gotten lots of questions on our Instagram about our trips and some tips for when you're on the road. And today I'm going to talk about food and water on the road. Because no matter how great your trip is or how nice the views are, if you're out of water or out of food, you're not going to enjoy it. So I'm going to start talking about water. It's the most important thing we as humans need, so it's important that we've got enough of it. Your best friend on the road are gas stations. Finn and me always got our water at gas stations, because if we're talking about Europe, no matter where you are, even if you're really out in the middle of nowhere, I think you're gonna get across a gas station at least once a day, probably more like 5 or 10 times a day. And they'll always have tap water, which is in most countries is drinkable. If we're talking about countries where tap water is not drinkable, then it's probably not the best idea to drink the tap water from a gas station. But then there's basically 3 options to get your water anyways. Firstly, of course, you can buy the water, especially in countries where the water isn't drinkable. It's like that they have big bottles you can buy, so 3 or 5 or even 10 liters. So you don't have to buy a lot of little bottles and have to reduce so much plastic waste. The second option is to boil your water, because then no matter how bad the water is, it's likely going to be drinkable afterwards. But you're gonna have to use valuable gas on that. And the third option, that's quite a good option, is to use filter bottles. So we had a live straw bottle, which you fill the tap water in and then you drink, and when you suck the water up, the water gets sucked through a filter, so you're drinking clean water. There's also tablets that you can put into water, so just get tap water, put these tablets in, and it's good to drink. In some places, which is pretty cool, you can find public water taps. For example, that's a lot in France, especially in the mountains. In many villages there will be just fresh water springs where you can fill up your water. Or also in Georgia we found a lot of these. Another way to get water when there's no rivers or gas stations or supermarkets around is just to ask people. I did that a lot in France and in Wales. I just rang at people's doorbells and asked them if they could fill up my bottles, and they always did, and I always had nice conversations with people. So that's also a cool way to get in touch with kind of the people of the place where you're riding through. And then of course the best option is to drink water right from nature. I'd always check on a map. If there's a village upstream, I probably wouldn't drink the water, but if there's not, enjoy. So let's talk about how much water do you need. I always carry about 2 to 2.5 liters on my bike. That really depends on the place where you are. If there's lots of gas stations and supermarkets on the road, you probably don't have to carry that much. But if you know that you're gonna get to a place, maybe a desert or something, where there's no place to get new water, you definitely have to stock up. It's really not worth to save weight on water. If you have 2 kilos less on your bike and you're a few seconds or a few minutes faster, nobody's gonna applaud you, but you're gonna be really in big trouble if you don't have enough water. So definitely don't ever save on water. Finn and me also have a water sack with I think 10 liters capacity, which when we were in Azerbaijan in the desert for 3 days, we also filled up that water bag. Not fully, but we calculated how much water we'd need between us two. So that's always good to definitely plan ahead. So let's talk about food. We always get our food from supermarkets, especially when you're in Europe. There's really nothing to worry about. You'll have a supermarket pretty much every day. So Finn and me usually bought food every 2 to 3 days to not have the hassle of going every day. For dinner we always cooked our own food. We never got takeout food. It's probably cheaper to cook your own food, but maybe a bit more comfortable to buy takeout food. If you're in a place that's a bit more exotic, it's really cool to get street food. Especially in Azerbaijan we got a lot of street food. We often got invited even for food. We had a lot of food up there, and that's what we came for after all. And with local street food, it's definitely, as long as it's cooked thoroughly, then there's nothing really to worry about in terms of getting sick. But definitely if you're in a place that's a bit less inhabited, definitely check beforehand. When you're at the supermarket, check when's the next one gonna be, and then just buy accordingly. There's a great app for that. It's maps.me. We're not affiliated or anything with them, but it's really a must-have for any bikepacker, because they apart from being a map, of course, they have all grocery stores, supermarkets, banks, gas stations, public restrooms, and restaurants, all that. So to sum up, it's always best to plan ahead a bit. Definitely know when it's going to be the next time you're going to be able to buy food or get tap water. Gas stations are your biggest friend for that, but always check if the water's drinkable. We've got a lot of information on all that on our website as well, so check that out. And if you've got any questions or any recommendations for other topics that you